Well, Sean Diddy Combs was back in court today for a pre-trial hearing scheduled and on the books ahead of his May court date. And there was a lot that was going to go into this hearing. His team had a lot that they wanted to be updated in their favor. Everything from the start date for the trial to witnesses on the prosecutor's side. They were even trying to get evidence suppressed. I'm going to go through the list of everything that we learned, including some wins that Diddy's team got today in that pre-trial hearing. I'm also going to break down for you when his date is going to be in May for his actual trial. I'll be covering that for you as well. Some bombshell allegations came through by Diddy's legal team against CNN, which we're going to go through as well. Let's get some pop culture news for today. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on breaking news. You know the kind of the baseline charges that Diddy is facing. Not only that, racketeering, but a couple of others as well. Well, the prosecutors had filed 2 superseding indictments prior to today's court date, which means that they have just added on, not necessarily new charges, but more details in the existing charges against Diddy. Now, these details were going to come up today in court because Diddy would need to submit a formal plea to this new component added. So in addition to what he was facing, they are also alleging that Diddy forced employees to work long hours under threat of physical and reputational harm. They also say that he forced at least one employee to engage in adult activities with him. They expand the time frame in which they are saying that Diddy was involved in these sorts of acts, right? So basically extending it to a little bit more time. And they also brought in at least 1 or 2 additional victims. We still do not have those names. Like I said, no new charges, just expanding on what they already have. Now, this is what the new indictment says, and it quotes, "He forced employees to work long hours with little sleep by using physical force, psychological harm, withholding money, and threatening to harm their reputations. Combs caused these employees to believe they would be harmed, including by losing their jobs if they did not comply with his demands." The second superseding indictment also alleges that with respect to one employee, Diddy used force, psychological harm, financial harm, and reputational harm, and or threats to cause the employee to engage in adult acts with him. Now, in regards to that superseding indictment that was discussed today, Diddy's team couldn't do a whole lot except enter in their plea. And to nobody's surprise, certainly not to me, or I'm sure to you, he has pled not guilty. He has pled not guilty to all of the charges brought against him in the federal case, as well as all the civil charges that are pending. His lawyer released a statement almost identical every single time that he's innocent and that his innocence will be proven. So nothing surprising there. He's going to plead not guilty. Now, a second huge component that was discussed today was the start of the trial. And this was going to be a battle from the beginning because both sides wanted something different. The prosecutors wanted the trial to start on May the 5th. They wanted to begin jury selection at the end of April, on or around the 21st of April. Now, the team that's representing Diddy wanted something a little bit different. They wanted to begin jury selection at the beginning of May the 5th, actually, which is exactly when prosecutors wanted the trial to start. And they wanted to get the trial started around May the 12th. The judge ended up saying this: jury selection is going to begin on May the 5th. So that is going to be a win for Diddy's side. The trial is tentatively slated to begin on May the 12th, which is exactly what Diddy's team is looking for. So a little bit of a victory when it comes to when the trial will start. Now, in reference to the jury, it's going to be a laborious process, no doubt. Trying to find jurors that are not biased is going to be a challenge, but let me break down a little bit. So what they're looking for is this: Diddy's team is looking for a larger pool in regards to jurors. They want to start with a really, really big number. They want to start with anywhere between 300 and 600 potential jurors, and they want them to complete a questionnaire. They are trying their best to weed out as many people, obviously, that present any sort of bias. Diddy, of course, is a huge name. Now, the prosecutors are looking for something a little bit smaller. They're suggesting that the questionnaire should only be given to address potential scheduling conflicts, but not necessarily for every single person. They're also wanting individual questioning. This is going to be Diddy's team. They want to be able to question each of the individual jurors that come into the jury pool. So there's still a lot being discussed there. What we know for sure is when jury selection is going to start, which is going to be in accordance to when Diddy's team wants it to. They also discussed that video that we saw on CNN, or maybe you saw it in a different news outlet, but it was put out there by CNN. Now let's jump into some details on that. Now, for quite some time, Diddy's team has been trying to get that video suppressed, and that was also discussed today. They do not want that video of the physical altercation between Diddy and Cassie to be a part of the evidence or played at all at the trial. They want it removed. Now, in a bombshell allegation, they are alleging that CNN has altered the video that we all watched those months ago. Now, they say this. Diddy's team said that they submitted a subpoena to CNN for the video that was released, and CNN provided the video. Now, they go on to say this. Once they received the video, they said the defense has confirmed through a forensic video analysis of the CNN footage that the government provided to this court was substantially altered in significant respects. They go on in their letter filed with the court to say that this includes a couple of things. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments in regards to this being a significant alteration. They say that the timestamps have been covered on the video. Not only that, they're accusing CNN of altering the video sequence. So in the way that we saw it is not in the order that it occurred. So the sequencing was altered. They are also saying that the video was sped up. And by speeding the video up, it falsely appears that the actions in the video are taking place faster than they actually are. Now that is a stretch. We all remember Diddy also got on his Instagram and apologized for this video. It's a huge piece of evidence, and I can understand why his team is trying to get rid of it. Not necessarily proving, any of the charges, because he cannot be charged for what happened in that hallway with Cassie. But certainly in regards to speaking to his nature, the prosecutors have called it a key piece of evidence, and they do not want it suppressed. Now, the defense is also claiming that CNN purchased this video. And they purchased the only copy of the hotel surveillance video. They said that CNN uploaded that video to an editing software, made these changes, and then destroyed the original. So clearly Diddy's team is not able to get their hands on the exact same video. And it could be because it was sold to CNN by a source. We don't know, but they are alleging that CNN paid for it. Now, that was a huge component of the case. Both were going back and forth. However, this is what the judge had to say. And he came down on really a neutral type of stance, if you will. So he said that they need to talk about it amongst themselves. He said that both of the parties on the defense as well as the prosecution need to discuss whether the video is going to be used at trial. He says, listen, if the issue is that it was chopped up from a sequence perspective, then let's just put it back into the right sequence. Or you guys could discuss if the issue is the video being sped up, that let's just go ahead and reduce it back to its normal speed. Now, he gives them an opportunity to reach a compromise and says if they cannot, they can go ahead and file their motions and he will consider it further. So that's where we are with the CNN video, almost kind of at a holding point. We're at that holding point while we wait to see what is ultimately decided. Now, they also discussed the witnesses. The list is large in regards to the witnesses that the prosecutors have. Okay. And Diddy's legal team, they want the name of these defense witnesses, whoever they are. They want full disclosure of that information. Bear in mind, Christian was in the audience, Janice Combs was in the audience, and Chance was in the audience, and that is all. Now, the prosecutors have a huge problem with providing this information. Let me tell you what they had to say. The prosecutor says this: many of the witnesses are incredibly frightened at becoming publicly known or known to Diddy's legal team. They contend that they have 20 potential witnesses, setting aside the three main alleged victims, one of which, although not named, it's widely speculated is Cassie. So they're saying that they are afraid to have their identity released. Now, the judge was not having it. This was also a win for Diddy's side. The judge said that the identities need to be disclosed. Not only do the identities need to be disclosed, but it needs to be done in the coming days. Now, there's nothing that can be done. The judge has made their decision. Hopefully, there is some sort of protection on Diddy's legal team in regards to them protecting the identities of these witnesses. We don't want to see any more alleged instances of witness tampering, which Diddy was accused of at the beginning of this whole thing when he was trying to get bail. We know he reached out to at least one of the people on the prosecutor's list, calling them well over 50 times in one day until they picked up. So that is where we are with the witnesses. A lot of information was decided and discussed today. You know, Diddy is still in jail. He's in the exact same location. Now, there was a little bit of chatter online, you guys, about how Diddy looked. People saying that he didn't look well. People were saying he was looking gaunt. But let me show you. We don't have, obviously, a picture of what he looked like, but there was a sketch artist in the crowd, and let me show you the picture that they have. So this is the image here. Take a look. So you can see he's obviously, they're depicting his hair to be gray, which is what's being described online, that he had grown out grays on his hair, grown out grays on his beard. And of course, he was in just a jumpsuit from being transferred from the jail. But he's in jail, you guys. What we're not going to expect him to look as we may have become accustomed to him looking, having access to certain things in regards to his appearance. A lot of those things are out the window. And so him looking a little bit different than what people have become accustomed to is definitely not something that is odd. So that's what we have for the Diddy pre-trial conference that happened today. Lots of information happened, bombshell accusations, and of course, that list of witnesses going out to the legal team for Diddy is a really big development as well. I would not be surprised if some of those names ended up leaking online, but I'll bring you the latest when we have it. Let's jump into the comments because I want to know what you guys think. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe.